It's the greatest killer of human potential. Fear. That's right. Fear is the greatest killer of human potential. But what is it? Does it really exist? I'm sure you're going to say, of course it exists, because I've experienced it. Hi, I'm Patrick Wanis, celebrity life coach, human behaviour and relationship expert, and clinical hypnotherapist, PhD. You might know me from some of my pocketbooks. I've sold over 5 million pocketbooks in English and Spanish throughout the US and Canada. I'm also the human behaviour and relationship expert for American media and Dating on Demand. I've been on Fox News, MSNBC, Mike and Juliet Show, Montel Williams, and been featured in magazines such as Cosmo, etc. You might have even heard me on the radio. Today, I want to talk to you about the greatest obstacle to our success. I want to help you to teach you how to overcome it. Fear. Now, if I ask you what is fear, most of you will give me an acronym. Fear. False expectations appearing real. But that's not a definition of fear. What is fear? Fear is simply the anticipation of pain. That's right, the anticipation of pain. That means when we're afraid, we're thinking about something that might happen to us in the future. Did you notice that? Something that might happen to us in the future. It means it hasn't happened yet. So it's the anticipation of pain. It's the expectation of pain. It hasn't yet happened. But how do we respond to it? We respond to it as if it's already happened. We start to actually make it happen. The very pain that we're afraid of is the pain that we create in ourselves. So the truth is, fear doesn't exist. It's not something you can go out and buy. It's not like you can go out and buy that car or that TV or that dress or that skirt or those shoes or that suit. It's not tangible. But yes, admittedly, it sure is powerful because fear is crippling. It can paralyze you. It can stop you from taking action. It can stop you from even setting out to have a goal. It can stop you from having or experiencing any of your dreams. Fear is the greatest killer of human potential, but it doesn't exist. It's not just in our head. It's a thought that creates a feeling in our body that then stops us from doing what we really want. So you say, okay, that's nice, Patrick. Now that I have a definition for fear, how do I overcome it? Because I still feel it, and that's true, you do feel it. But step number one is to understand that it's not tangible. It's not real, because in that moment, what are you thinking about? The potential pain of something that might happen tomorrow or later. It means it hasn't yet happened. So step number one, become aware that fear isn't happening. You're making it happen in that moment. Something's not happening to you. You're actually in control. And you say, well, wait a minute, Patrick, because I feel those shakes. Well, those shakes come from a thought. So what is your fearful thought? For most of us, when we say it's a fear of pain, most of us, the fear of pain is actually the fear of rejection. You know, we're talking about going up to someone, we're talking about approaching someone, about pitching someone, about offering someone an opportunity, a business, a product, a service, and we're afraid of pain, maybe the fear of rejection. We might also be afraid that we're going to humiliate ourselves or embarrass ourselves or make a fool of ourselves. So what do we feel? We start to feel nervous, we start to get sweaty. One of the steps to overcoming fear, as I said, is obviously to be aware that we're experiencing it in the moment. To say, wow, what am I feeling? So it's almost like you are distancing yourself, disconnecting yourself from it, like you're observing. The next thing is if you can run that thought through your head, so you go, I'm afraid of falling over, you go, stop, cancel that thought. So you're jarring yourself, stop, cancel that thought. The next thing is get yourself off yourself. What does that mean? Stop thinking about yourself. You see, most of our fear comes from, as I said, fear of rejection, fear that we're not going to be liked, fear that people are not going to approve of us. But if you stop thinking about you and you think about, well, why am I really here? I'm here to make a presentation. I'm here to do a pitch. And why am I here? Not just to get paid or bring more people to my team. No, you're here to share a message. You're here because you have something of value to give to the other person. You're here because you have something special to offer, be it an opportunity, a product, a service, or just a message. So if I was to say to you, your child is in grave danger right now, and you need to run through that road where there's lots of busy cars. Would you stop and think about it and go, oh, that's a little frightening? No, you wouldn't. Why? Because you're not thinking about you now, are you? You're thinking about saving your child's life. Suddenly you'll have courage. Suddenly you'll have strength. Suddenly you'll look for the solution instead of focusing on the fear. Notice the shift? Instead of focusing on the pain, you're focusing on the solution. And you'll go running and you'll find the way to get across that busy highway to get to your child. So that means, again, get off yourself. Think about who you are going to help. To whom are you going to contribute? How are you going to make a positive difference? You see, when you stop thinking about yourself, you're not thinking about the pain anymore. And you can now focus on the pleasure and the benefit that you're going to give to someone else, and therefore the good satisfaction and feeling and fulfillment that you'll get by knowing that you've helped someone else. There are a couple of other techniques that I have in my book, Get What You Want. It's sold over 400,000 copies throughout the US and Canada. And it's also being translated into Hungarian and Spanish. In Get What You Want, I refer to fear not just as the anticipation of pain set in the future, but in the way that it's connected to the mind, to what I call the great trickster. The great trickster is that little voice that says to you, you can't do it, you're not good enough, you won't do it, you're about to fail. And of course that little voice comes from your parents or from things you experienced as a child. So here are 4 quick techniques to handle the great trickster. Number 1, as I said, disassociate or disconnect. Number 2, cancel that thought. Number 3, make the fear ridiculous as possible, exaggerate it to the point where it becomes ludicrous. So say, for example, you're going for a job interview and you're really worried about, will I get that job? Well, what's going through your head? You're thinking, well, I'm going to fall over the table, I'm going to spill the coffee. Well, what you do is you take that fear even more and more. You go, yeah, I'm going to spill the coffee, I'm going to tear up my suit, I'm going to fall naked. And you make it so that you start laughing because it's so ludicrous and ridiculous, because the fear is so over the top that you realise that's never going to happen. And then the other thing is to disconnect from the emotion. I did say about disconnecting, but it's also about becoming aware of the emotion. And so you say to yourself, where am I right now? What am I feeling? And move a little bit more into your head, a little bit more out of your fear. And again, focus on helping the other person. These are just some of the techniques that I talk about how to handle fear and how to handle the great trickster so that you can get what you want, which I talk about in my book, Get What You Want. So remember, fear isn't real. You can't touch it, it's not tangible. Only you choose or not choose to make it real. Hi, I'm Patrick Wanis. Thank you very much.